Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lisa and today we're having a bake and create video. I am going to be baking a recipe, a banana loaf recipe, and I'm also going to be creating the recipe, documenting it into my recipe journal. I've been slowly transferring all the recipes over and trying to do them with a bit of a scrapbooking influence, and some of them have a story to go with them. This one in particular does have a story. Actually, it's got a couple of stories. So it was originally a banana cake from my first ever cookbook, which is here. It's full of memories, and this is the banana bread recipe here. I love this book so much. It's full of scribbles. I had a really naughty little sister, and she used to scribble over everything, and so this book is full of her scribbles. But this cake is particularly, it's a memorable one. It was the first recipe that I ever let the kids bake on their own as they got a little bit older. So I've got some really cute photos, and that's what I'm including in with the recipe today in my recipe journal. But I've adapted it over the years, and it's become a sugar-free cake now. It's a banana and honey loaf. I use the bananas when they're really overly ripe. A doesn't mind eating them when they're really ripe. The kids and I like bananas when they're green. So we quite often have overripe bananas. I only need 3 for this recipe, so I will freeze the other one. They're great for smoothies, and they become sweeter the more ripe they are, and that means that you can cut out the sugar. But I also add honey as well to sweeten, so it's a really good recipe, really quick and really easy. I'm going to link up all the ingredients and everything below. I am just using the rubbing technique, rubbing the flour and the marge together so that it looks like breadcrumbs. Then in goes the 3 mashed bananas. I've got the honey and the egg as well, and that all gets mixed up. If it's a little bit too dry, you can add a drop of milk. This is one for some reason I never make using my KitchenAid. I always do this one by hand. It's just a really quick and easy one. You can add nuts if you want to. You can add fruit. You can add chocolate chip, whatever you fancy. I leave mine like this. I'm going to transfer it to the loaf tin. I add the chocolate afterwards once it's baked. So I don't need any milk in this today. This is what it looks like, and it's going in the tin now. So the cake's ready. It takes about half an hour to 40 minutes, and it's one of those that always just comes out really easily. Just grease your tin and you have no problems. I have already attacked the Nutella. I had to have a Nutella sandwich. I love it so much. Just gonna wait for that to cool down a little bit before I slice it. There we go, lovely banana cake. It's just so good, really good. Right, I'm now going to go on and do the creating. So I'm now going on to the creative side. I did set up this recipe planner a few months ago now. I'll link up that below. And the idea is that I've got all my different recipes. I created, what do you call them, dashboards. And I started recording some recipes that had a story, and so this one really does have a story. It's quite a special story actually, and I want to document that on the other side here. I've taken this old photo. I can't find where it was saved, which is unlike me because I'm usually really good at carefully saving photos, but this was my little Louis. He's 17 now. So it was a few years ago, and this was him baking that special banana recipe all by himself. That was the first time he'd ever baked all on his own. And I've actually taken this photo out of my old recipe book, and I'm transferring everything over to here because the book's completely fallen to bits, so I've had to redo it. So I want to document the story here. This kit, this Lollipop Box Club kit from this month goes really well because it's kind of got that vintage theme. The recipe's got an old story to it, obviously, because it goes straight back to when I was little, as well as it originated from that book. So I'm going to document the whole story here in my recipe planner right now. I'm going to start by covering up with the paper from the kit. I will link up the kit below. There aren't many left now. I think there's only about 5 or 6, but I'll link the kits up anyway, just in case you haven't seen them. So I've covered the page in the green paper, gone around with a black line, and I'm just going to go on the reverse. I've got a big bite here which punches out singular holes. I often get asked about how I make holes in my papers, and I use this big bite here. I've had it for absolutely years and it works a treat. I've got bits and pieces left over from the kit from other projects, so rather than start like new sticker kits, sticker pages and things, I'm going to use up what I've already got. And I'm going to, along where it says recipe, I'm going to use the stickers to spell out banana cake. I'm now just going to use a couple more of the papers and just use the green as a little bit of a background. As I'm going for a little bit of a vintage look, I'm going to use some vintage distressing techniques. Now just go careful here, obviously I'm holding my scissors. You can cut into your fingers, so go very careful when doing this, and always scrape away from your body, not towards you. You can buy distress tools. I know like the Tim Holtz collection has one, but to be honest, I've always used the sides of my scissors. I've never found this an issue, and it's always worked a treat. Can really distress them quite well. I like the little tears, and you can kind of fold in a little bit as well. Can you see there? So you've got the distress look, you've got a few little tears. You can encourage those tears as well. I like to do that because you can also see the paper then underneath. I like to really fold in a little bit. It's a really good distressing technique there on the edges. And then I've got this really old ink pad here, as you can see. It's definitely seen better days, and you can just go along the outside there just to ink the edges. My ink pad is really falling to bits. And then I'm going to stick that in the center there, and like you can see the paper underneath. You could even add, actually I tell you what will look nice, I'm going to show you something here from the kit. Let's cut off some of this, and I'm going to stick this underneath. I'm just going to stick the paper here. I haven't stuck it all the way to the edges, as you can see. I don't tend to often do that anyway, for this very reason, because then you can slot things underneath. I think that will look really nice, and then you'll just see the doily there peeping through, and I'm going to do that on the other side as well, cutting just a bit of the doily off. There you can see the doily peeping through on both sides. I've cut this paper down here as well, and I'm just going to ink the edges again just to keep in with that kind of vintage theme, and I'm going to stick this onto my heart paper. This little glassine bag, I'm going to use the bag here. I like to think that pretty much everything in the kit can be used, so everything that I use to include bits and pieces from the kit, I always have visions of it being used in other ways, not just as packaging. I'm going to pop the photo of little Louis on the front there with his proud banana cake. And again, using packaging, I'm going to be using the tag. I don't think I'm going to use the clip on here, but the tag can be used for the recipe and the recipe story. Take off the washi tape from that packaging very carefully, because I'm going to use that as well. I've got the zine here from the kit, so actually rather than write it out, I am going to cut it and use that on the tag. That will save me a little bit of time. So I've decorated the front, or the recipe part, and I'm now going to use the to-do list from the kit. And let's have a shopping list, and I'm also going to cut this bit out of the embellishment postcard and use this as well on the bottom there. So there, I've used the recipe card, I've cut that out, and I've documented the little story about Louis baking all on his own. I'm going to use the twine from the kit now and pop that through at the top. I've used all of the twine in the kit, sort of like tripled it over, so it's a bit more of a chunkier bow. And that now slots inside really nicely. I'm actually going to cut a couple more of these little cards out from the embellishment postcard And these can be used to tell the story as well. I've got all 4 of these little mini cards, and I'm going to actually cut them in half so that I can slot them underneath the work here, and I can then almost not waste any and use them all for my journaling. And then I'm even going to, this says I love Happy Mail. I don't need the Happy Mail. I'm going to cut that off. Let's trim that down slightly. And I'm going to use this as well. And there you can see how each half of the card I've used to journal. And then to finish it off, I've reattached the tape there. I've added the hug stickers or sticker and the little word strips and another sticker there. And that's the story, which also includes the recipe. I'm really pleased with how that's turned out. And there you can see it in my recipe file. So I'm going to set a journaling challenge. If you haven't seen my journaling challenges below, I will link up the Lollipop group below. It's where we do all our challenges and where you can see how other people use the kits, like what I have done here. You don't have to have a kit to join in though. The challenge right now is to scrapbook or document journal using an old photo, which is exactly what I've done today. A nice easy one. I'll link it up below, and one winner each month gets picked and gets sent a prize. And like I said, you don't have to use the Lollipop kits to join in. Really hope that you've enjoyed this video today, and let me know if you end up trying this banana and honey loaf recipe. I would love to know, and let me know, or I challenge you to go and document, scrapbook or journal a favorite recipe of yours, maybe one that has a story behind it as well. Let me know if you do that or if you're up for the challenge. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please give me a thumbs up if you have, and please subscribe if you don't already. Thanks so much, and I'll see you soon. Bye.